Hey, welcome back. So today, we're tearing into a book that's all about cutting through the nonsense in the fitness world. It's called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger by Michael Matthews, and honestly, it promises a super simple, science-backed way to build the body you actually want without wasting a ton of time or money.
You know, the author Michael Matthews kicks things off with a story that I'm guessing sounds really familiar to a lot of us. He talks about spending years just grinding away at the gym, right? Following all the advice from magazines, trying every workout program you can imagine, and dropping a small fortune on supplements. And for what? He basically ended up feeling stuck, burned out, and just totally frustrated with his results.
So what was the real problem? Well, according to Matthews, it's something he calls the bro science trap. And the whole idea here is that the fitness industry is just overflowing with myths and, half-truths that are really only designed to do one thing: keep you confused, keep you buying their stuff, but not actually get you real lasting results.
All right, let's just go ahead and debunk some of these huge myths right now. Matthews makes it really clear. You do not need to confuse your muscles. They don't get bored. You don't need to live in the gym for hours on end. You don't need all those useless supplements. You definitely don't need endless, boring cardio sessions. And you don't even have to give up the foods you love. So much of what we're sold is just complexity for the sake of it.
Okay, so if all that stuff we just talked about is wrong, then what's right? Well, the book argues that building muscle really just boils down to a few basic, fundamental laws. It's all about working smarter, not just running yourself into the ground.
Let's get right to the heart of it. If you had to focus on just one thing to build muscle, what would it be? The book is crystal clear. It's not about chasing a pump. It's not some mystical muscle confusion, and it's definitely not about how sore you feel the next day.
The answer is progressive overload. And yeah, that sounds kind of technical, but it's just a fancy term for a really, really simple idea. You have to get stronger over time, period. You have to consistently give your muscles a powerful reason to grow by demanding more from them. And that usually means lifting heavier and heavier weights. That is the #1 signal for muscle growth.
And you can really see the difference right here. You know, the whole bro science thing has you chasing muscle confusion, doing endless high-rep sets until you can't move. The bigger, leaner, stronger way, it's all about true progressive overload. You focus on big, heavy compound lifts. Think squats, deadlifts, bench press, all in these super focused workouts that are done in like 45 to 60 minutes.
So what does lifting heavy actually mean in practice? Well, the sweet spot, the real magic zone for building both strength and size, is right here. Lifting weights that are about 80 to 85% of your 1-rep max. That's the intensity that just naturally puts you in that powerful 4 to 6 rep range for your main lifts.
Okay, let's flip to the other side of the coin: getting lean. The book makes the case that fat loss is surrounded by even more myths than building muscle is. But guess what? The science behind it is just as simple.
It really just comes down to basic physics, Energy in versus energy out. You simply cannot lose body fat unless you are burning more energy than you're eating. It doesn't matter if you're eating super clean or low carb or keto or whatever. If you are not in what's called a calorie deficit, you will not lose fat. It's a law.
And to really drive this point home, the book brings up this wild story about a nutrition professor named Mark Hobb. This guy proved that energy balance is king by losing 27 pounds eating mostly things like Twinkies, Doritos, and Oreos. Now, obviously, no one is saying that's a healthy way to live, but it perfectly shows that when it comes to fat loss specifically, calories are the bottom line.
So, the huge takeaway here is that it's basically a math problem. It's that simple. If you take in more energy, more calories than you burn, you're in a surplus, you gain weight. If you take in less, you're in a deficit, you lose weight. At its core, that's really all there is to it. So if the rule is that simple, why do so many people struggle? Well, it's usually one of these 3 things. 1, they're just not accurately tracking how much they're actually eating. 2, they think they can outrun a bad diet with cardio, which is basically impossible. And 3, and this is a big one, they stop lifting heavy when they're trying to lose weight, which just tells their body to burn away precious muscle right along with the fat. All right, so what do we actually do with all this? How do we put these simple laws into action? Well, the book lays out a really clear, really effective blueprint to follow. And here it is, the entire plan boiled down to just 3 steps. Step 1, lift heavy. You've got to focus on progressive overload to make your muscles grow. Step 2, master your numbers. Get your diet locked in by managing your calories and your macros. That's your protein, carbs, and fats. And step 3, the most important one,
Be consistent. Track what you're doing in the gym and in the kitchen because those small, consistent steps forward are what add up to a huge transformation. That's the whole game. When you get right down to it, the book's final message is all about empowerment. Once you understand these simple, scientific rules, you are in the driver's seat. The results aren't about luck or having amazing genetics. As the author puts it, they're inevitable. They are a direct result of doing the work.
So there you have it, a clear, science-based path that just cuts right through all the confusion and noise. The methods are simple, and they are proven to work, time and time again. The only real question left is the one you see right here. What are you going to build with it?